Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight, and we have Mr. T. Graham Brown on the what do you call this? What is, the split screen with us today. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm sitting here at the Brown compound high on a ridge in beautiful green Tennessee and fixing to go out and do some pressure washing, maybe cut some grass, maybe get the hedge trimmer out. I've been working. I worked all day yesterday on the yard trying to get it looking good. And
Clear the mind.
yeah, man, I love getting out there.
Yeah.
And I grew up cutting grass, and I really enjoy cutting grass too. I got to push more, and I push as much as I can. And I did a video for Trace Atkins a couple of years ago, and he and his manager took me to Home Depot and bought me a nice riding lawnmower. So I use it, and yeah, man, I get out there and work.
Where are you at relative to Nashville?
We're in a place called Newsom Station. It used to be out in the country, but they're building like crazy. It's about 20 minutes from downtown. It's not
Okay.
too far.
Okay. Well, I feel like most people are going to know you, but just a quick run through for anybody that's maybe learning about you here. I got that you're in your fifth decade as an entertainer now.
Wow.
Singer, 3 #1 hits, 8 more top 10 hits. Actor in movies, television, and stage. That's pretty impressive. A Sirius XM show host. CMA award winner somewhere along the way. Grammy nominated for a recent album, it looks like, that you were a part of. In a 2020 Telly Award, which is a social media live event award. So you're staying pretty busy, man. A lot of accomplishments and still pretty active.
Yeah, man, I'm having time of my life. You know, those Telly Awards, funny. I won 3 this year.
Oh, wow.
For some things. And yeah, I got a band and a bus and all that hillbilly stuff. And then I come and do some acoustic shows here and there. And I got a Sirius XM radio show. I play live cuts from artists' live albums. And
okay, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about your show in a few minutes too.
Do that, yeah, like you said, I do all kinds of stuff, man. I'm having the time of my life. I'm having more fun now than I've ever had.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome to hear. So, I'm just going to kind of start. You moved to Nashville in 1982. It looks like. I wanted you to tell me a little bit about something called the Great Credibility Scare of 1986.
Oh, that's just something Steve Earle said. We all came out basically the same year. Keith Whitley and Randy Travis and Marty Stewart and Dwight Yoakam and Steve Earle.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of us, man. We're still great friends. I don't know. I guess Steve was bragging that we were kind of bringing in a new era. We had a lot of fun back then, man.
And so was that kind of a change in country music? Was your group? Did y'all do something a little? Did you bring a little different?
I guess because I was doing pretty much country soul. And Steve was, rocking and rolling, and Dwight was doing his Bakersfield sound out there, and Randy Travis was doing traditional country, and Marty Stewart was kind of bluegrassy country rock, and and Keith Whitley, of course, was doing traditional country, and we're having a great time, man.
That's a pretty impressive crew, man. That's a pretty impressive class.
And we're all still doing what we can do. Keith passed away, and Randy's had a stroke and can't sing anymore, but he knows what's going on and always has a big grin on his face. I get to see him I don't know, 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
And I've been working on a soul record. I was talking to Dwight Yoakam this morning. He stayed up late last night out in Hollywood putting a vocal on a duet that we're doing. So, yeah, we're all in close contact and love each other very much.
That's great, man. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your relationship with Keith Whitley, man? I'm kind of fascinated by him and his story. And I mean, it's a tragedy, but I mean, he was such a great artist and just gone too soon.
Well, man, we were like brothers, and he started out in his teens, working with Ralph Stanley and doing Bluegrass him and Skaggs, and then we toured together. We had just done a couple of shows, and then came back to town to rest up a couple of days, and he just his manager Jack McFadden. We were all buddies, and Jack called me at the house, and which was nothing really unusual because we talked all the time. And I said, "Hey man, what's up?" And he said, "Keith's dead." And I said, "Well, that ain't even funny." And he started crying, and he said, "Yeah, we found Keith dead." And
Oh man.
Keith, he said, "I can't face these cameras. Can I send them to your house?" So these satellite trucks showed up at our house, and I had to
Wow.
I had to talk to the press and all that stuff, which was not fun. And Keith and I were big drinking buddies, and Keith, bless his heart, man, he was kind of a troubled soul. And Lori went to Alaska, and Keith was left at home by himself, and he bought a big old quart bottle of grain alcohol and drank it all real quick, and just threw up and choked on his own vomit. It was a terrible way to go, but
Wow.
and they finally got him in the Country Music Hall of Fame. They're going to put him in the next time they do it. And he was something else. We were scheduled to go out again, and he was just a good soul brother, man. If he had lived, I think he would have been as big a country star as anybody ever.
His voice was such a great country voice.
Yeah, and he was really on a roll. He was having a string of #1 hits, and we had a lot of fun together, man.
Revolutionary green roofing breakthrough is now saving property owners thousands of dollars on roof replacement by greatly extending roof life. Asphalt roof shingles have essential oil that allows for daily expansion and contraction, and as they age, this oil begins to dry out, causing the asphalt to become brittle and slowly break apart. RoofMax is the world's first sustainable roofing solution because it rejuvenates a roof by resaturating it with millions of microbeads of all-natural bio-oil. Like skin moisturizer for your roof, it quickly restores flexibility and waterproofing protection, guaranteed for 5 years. The all-natural treatment is 100% safe for people, pets, property, and the environment. And a RoofMax treatment is quick, easy, and very affordable. Get more life for less money with RoofMax, a powerful fusion of science and nature.
Like I said, he was great. The record companies were really concerned about our drinking, and as they should have been. And there was this psychologist over on Music Row, that basically catered to the music business crowd, and he had this group therapy thing, and the record companies made Keith and I go to it, to try to get us to quit drinking, and we'd be sitting in this circle listening to everybody whine, and we'd be looking at our watch, saying, "Come on, hurry up! We want to go get a drink." We had no intentions of slowing down, but yeah, Keith was a good one, man.
Well,
We were all nominated for Best New Male Vocalist the same year out at the Academy of Country Music Awards. So I got some great pictures from back then.
Yeah. I saw you post. I saw you tweeted something about him not too long ago. That's why I kind of wanted to ask you about.
I just put out that that I was glad he was finally getting in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I'm glad too, man. It's hard to believe that it's just now happening, but better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, man, it's hard to believe he's been dead like 33 years, maybe this year. I can't remember if he died in 89 or 88.
I still listen to his music.
Well, I do too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about let's transition into your first release. It was Drowning in Memories. Is that correct?
Yeah, man, I sang demos like a lot of people did before they got record deals, and I was really in demand as a demo singer. I probably sang as many as anybody, and they would pitch those songs, around Music Row to try to get them cut with my voice on it, and all the record companies heard me. They knew who I was, and so I signed a thing with Capitol Records. Back then, they had this thing called a singles deal.
Yeah.
And I signed a 6 singles deal with Capitol, which meant they would put out a single. And if it didn't hit, they had the option to put out another single. They really had, what they call artist development back then. I think nowadays they'll sign you, and if you don't have a hit right off the bat, they'll get rid of you. But that Drowning in Memory song, I think it just cracked the top 40, but it was enough. It made enough noise for Capitol to immediately call for an album. So,
and that was your first track, right? Your first single.
Yeah, and then I went down to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and finished an album. Drowning in Memories never made it to any of my albums.
Oh, wow.
Capitol put it on a greatest hits album, but I never did put it on one of my records.
Yeah.
But
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, one of the songs that I sang a demo on was "I Tell It Like It Used to Be."
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I got my record deal, "I Tell It Like It Used to Be" was still sitting on the shelf at Tree Publishing, and we decided to go in and cut that. And
that's what I was transitioning to. Was that your next single?
Yeah, we put horns on it and everything, and it was kind of a different sound, I guess. And we had all the Swampers playing on that album, and they put "Tell It Like It Used to Be" out, and it was a big hit.
Yeah.
So that kind of got me going, and I had a pretty good run at radio. I never was the biggest star in the world, but I had enough hits that it's allowed me to keep working all these years, and I still got, thank goodness, a lot of fans that come out to shows. And so, yeah, man, everything's beautiful. We just take the music to the people, and we're just trying to do what we think God wants us to do these days. And
that's right.
Like I said, I'm having more fun now than ever. And Sheila and I have been together 43 years. She stuck with me through all the craziness. And,
she must love you, huh?
Yeah, oh man, and yeah, we love each other very much. And if it weren't for her love and the grace of God, I'd have been dead a long time ago. I deserve to have been dead, and I almost was dead. So
yeah,
I'm just glad that God kept me around for something.
That's right, man. One of the things that I tell people all the time is both my parents have passed in the last 5 years, but one of the things that I'm grateful for is that they introduced me to country music, and I was born in '77, and my first memories is that early mid '80s, and those songs that you're talking about are some of my first memories in music, and some of the songs that you're talking about, some of your music, "Tell It Like It Used to Be," those were big influences for me, and I still love country music to this day, and I went on to write and stuff like that, but those songs from that time period are still kind of my foundation, and I'm thankful that they introduced me to the country music back then.
I'm great that you had parents like that. See, both sides of my family are farmers. My mama's side and my daddy's side. I grew up riding a John Deere tractor. I found these couple of pictures of me when I was young on a John Deere plowing. That's really cool. And I was talking to Sheila the other day, neither side of my family had a record player. They never bought a record in their life. They didn't listen to the radio. I had no music other than a little bit of church music in my life. I had a transistor radio that had a little battery in it, and I could pick up during the daytime. I could pick up this little station in Cordele, Georgia. It was a 5,000 watt AM station, and they played a little bit of everything. They didn't have like a one kind of music format. They might play a Johnny Cash song and then play the Beatles and then play Otis Redding, and they were all over the place. So I really got to listen to all different kinds of music growing up. And then at night, I'd get up under the covers, and I was supposed to be asleep, and I'd get up under the covers and scroll through the AM dial really slowly, and I could pick up those clear channel stations at night. I could pick up pop stations. I could pick up WLAC out of Nashville that was playing black music. I could pick up country stations. So I listened to everything, and then I got this little bitty record player about the size of a shoebox, and I could play. It wasn't a stereo. It was mono, and had a little bitty speaker in it. And I had a few singles and a few albums. I never did have really a big album collection or anything, but I mainly listened to the radio.
Welcome to your new hospital, Trinity Medical. Located in Faraday, Trinity Medical is the only acute care facility in the Tri-Parish area. Here you will find an active pursuit of holistic health, a strong, honest group of clinicians, and a consciousness of others that transcends the 80,000 square feet committed to you and your loved ones. Trinity Medical. People you know, caring for people you love.
Growing up, my parents always encouraged me to do what's right, even if it wasn't easy. I'd always hear my mother's voice say, "Do the right thing." That stuck with me. Every day, just do the right thing. The rest takes care of itself.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe in doing the right thing for our customers and our communities.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see Shelter Agent Sabrina Doré.
And then in this little town that I spent my boyhood years in down in South Georgia, I had 300 people in it, and the railroad tracks ran down the middle of this town, and our house, our backyard backed up to the railroad track. and all the white people lived on one side, all the black people lived on the other side, and we didn't have air conditioning, so I would sleep with my window open right there by my bed. And the first band that I ever heard, with drums and bass and guitars and all, first band I ever heard was the Black Church across the tracks. I could hear it plain as day. And so I got all that growing up, man. I sang, as we all did, in this little Baptist church where all the white people went. So I sang out of the Broadman hymnal, softly and tenderly, and just as I am, and those old hymns, and I just got a dose of everything growing up.
That kind of makes sense though, because you have a unique style that you can hear a lot of different influences in, I would say.
Well, that makes it a lot more interesting to me. I get to do all kinds of music, man. When we play live, we do soul. We do all the hits people expect to hear, the country hits, which a lot of those are really soulful anyway. And then and we do, old soul hits. We do gospel. I've been lucky. I've had a couple of gospel number ones, and I've had blues number one, and I think I had maybe 3 country number ones, and
yeah,
I've been all over the place career wise, and I've had a wonderful career, man. I've just had a blast. And you were talking about the 80s. I grew up listening to 60, as far as country goes. I grew up listening to 60s and 70s country. So all those people, but
who are some of your influences?
Oh, Jerry Lee Lewis,
Faraday. We're right here beside him. We're right here beside where we grew up. Yeah.
Born on a farm in Faraday, Louisiana at the age of 9. I had to have a piano. My mama mortgaged everything, the house and the farm. Pretty soon, son, there was some shaking going on. But
I'm sitting about 10 miles from where you grew up.
I love Faraday, man, and I've been to the Blues Museum down there.
Yeah.
But I love Jerry Lee, and of course Waylon, Willie, Merle, Johnny Cash, all of that stuff, Loretta. But what I was going to tell you is, man, I came along at a perfect time because I got to work with and tour with and record with and get to know and be friends with all my heroes, man. I mean, I worked the road with Loretta and Conway and George and Tammy and Willie, Waylon, Merle, all these one-name people.
Wow.
Kenny and Dolly. And like I said, man, I've just had a wonderful career. I came along at a time that'll probably never be repeated.
Yeah.
And it's just been a ton of fun. I've had a great time.
That's awesome, man. That's a really cool story. Talking about, we'll kind of wrap up your career. I want to talk about, you wrote some, it looks like you wrote your first number one hit, which was Hell and High Water. Is that correct?
Yeah. Alex Harvey, a great songwriter who passed away a couple of years ago. He wrote Delta Dawn for Tanya, and he wrote a song called Reuben James that Kenny Rogers had a huge hit on. He wrote a lot of great songs, and we were writing for the same publishing company, EMI, and we would get together on Wednesday nights at the publishing company and play our newest songs or our newest demos, and just exchange ideas. And I remember Alex, I was really intimidated by him. He was a big personality and an actor and great artist himself. I urge anybody that's listening to go to YouTube and look up Alex Harvey, man. You'll really
I'll check him out. Yeah.
And he wanted me to come over to his house to write. And we had this old rusted out 63 Volkswagen. We moved to Nashville. We had a 59 Ford station wagon and a 63 Volkswagen, and that was our daily drivers. And I went over to his house, and we went down his basement, and we wrote Hell and High Water. And he said, "Man, this is a good song." And I didn't know. I was at the point where I thought anything that had my name on it couldn't be that good. And I didn't really want to cut it. I really didn't think it was any good, because we wrote it a couple of years before I got a record deal, and we pitched that thing all over town, and nobody would cut it. So that really made me think it wasn't that good. But Capitol Records believed in it, wanted me to go cut it, so we cut it down in Muscle Shoals, and then they wanted to put it out as a single, and I thought, man, y'all are going to kill my career before it even gets started good. And dang, it was a #1, so it just shows what I know.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. You just never know what's going to be a hit and what's not. I mean,
well, if we knew what was going to be a hit, we'd be the richest people in the history of the world. But
that's right.
I don't think anybody's ever really known for sure what a hit is.
Yeah, that's right, man. Well, tell us a little bit about your Sirius XM show. It says it is it called Livewire with T. Graham Brown?
Yeah, I just stayed after them for a few years. You know, I've known those people over there, and they have a great. They're based in New York City, which, you know, I've been up there a few times to their studios up there, and that's where Howard Stern does his show from. And they have really elaborate studios up there. But there's a great one that they built in the Bridgestone Arena in downtown Nashville, right down on Lower Broadway. And they have a live music theater that they built there. And I used to go down. I talked them into doing this show. I pitched this idea to do live cuts from artists' live albums, and on the Prime Country Channel, which they play from 1980 to 2000. That's the 20-year era of country music songs that they play on that channel. So I asked them about doing a show where I could have, it's an hour long. Sometimes it's 75 minutes long. There's no set time for it. I think this month, I listened to the June show last night, and it's 67 minutes long. So there's no really cutoff.
Yeah.
And I have 6 artists on each hour, and I play 2 cuts from albums that I get to pick all the music. And like I might play 2 songs from Merle Haggard live at Anaheim Stadium from 1982, and then I might play Asleep at the Wheel live at Billy Bob's, you know, or I might play whoever. Mo Bandy, you had mentioned Mo Bandy before we got on here. Yeah. I'll play Mo Bandy and Joe Stampley live at Billy Bob's. Or Billy Bob's is a great source because they've done 20-something album. Or
everybody has
actually,
a live album.
Actually, I think they've done 50-some albums now, and I have access to that catalog, and they have great recording equipment, so all of them are high quality sound. But I like this. I always have a guest, and I talk to them about 20 minutes about what was your first concert that you went to that had an influence on you. You know, it might maybe made you want to, you know, be in the music business, or what's your favorite live album of all time. Kind of, I try to keep things pertaining to live music.
Live, yeah.
And then the guests that I have, I usually play 3 songs from their records, and then I'll throw in a wild card at the end. I might play a couple of Greg Allmans, or I might play this month I got Bachman Turner Overdrive doing taking care of business, and
Yeah.
you ain't seen nothing yet. Or I'll play the Eagles or Jackson Brown or Bob Seger or James Taylor or whoever I want to do. I played Tom Petty last month, and so just all kinds of stuff that I like. A lot of times I'll play stuff that would have probably been on country radio if it had come out today.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my thinking behind that. And I heard the other day they're going to expand the show. They air it 8 times a month, and they're going to expand it to 12 times a month, which is, they staggered the times and the days of the week so that basically everybody has a chance to hear it, whether you're a truck driver in the middle of the night at 3 a.m. or on a Sunday, or every day of the week, all different times. So, and then they got this thing, man. If you subscribe to Sirius, they have a free mobile app that you can download, and then you can access their on-demand library and listen to whatever. You can listen to any podcast, anything, and you can go and search for Livewire. And
I have that, so I'm gonna go check it out.
They keep 6 or 7 of the old shows on there, so you can sample it, or if you have a favorite Livewire show or favorite artist or whatever, you can listen to that. And for instance, in the June show, I did kind of remembered Naomi Judd and did 3 Judd songs from their New Year's Eve show in 1999 from Las Vegas. And then I remembered Mickey Gilley and played some stuff from a live album he did at his theater in Branson. So I have, and I interviewed Heath Wright from Ricochet, and he was a great artist. I played some Ricochet songs, and I had seen Heath last month. Jeff Carson passed away, and we did a benefit for the Franklin Police Department.
Yeah,
has a program called LEAP. It's Law Enforcement Assistance Partnership, and they give aid to police officers' families, and they give scholarships to police officers' kids. And so we had, there was a bunch of us. Lee Greenwood was there, and Don McLean, from American Pie, was there, and Craig Campbell and Michael Ray, and gee whiz, I can't remember who all was there. It was a bunch of us there. We had a good time and raised $100,000. And then the Helping a Hero, the people that pay off veterans' mortgages, that get killed, announced that they were paying off Jeff's mortgage for his wife and son. So it turned out great. And I'd seen Heath that night and invited him to be on the show. So luckily, man, I got a lot of friends. I've been doing this show 3 years now, and I can call up. I have everybody's phone number, and I can call up basically anybody, I want to, and they'll help me. We all help each other, man. We all sing on each other's records and do each other's charities and golf tournaments, and
that's one of the things I love about the music business. Man.
Yeah, man.
People think it's bigger, but I mean, it's really kind of small.
We all pull for each other. It's not any kind of jealousy or envy or any of that stuff. We check all our egos at the door. It's a wonderful scene, and a great group of people that are civic minded and charity minded, and we do our best.
revolutionary green roofing breakthrough is now saving property owners thousands of dollars on roof replacement by greatly extending roof life. Asphalt roof shingles have essential oil that allows for daily expansion and contraction. And as they age, this oil begins to dry out, causing the asphalt to become brittle and slowly break apart. RoofMax is the world's first sustainable roofing solution because it rejuvenates a roof by resaturating it with millions of microbeads of all-natural bio-oil. Like skin moisturizer for your roof, it quickly restores flexibility and waterproofing protection, guaranteed for 5 years. The all-natural treatment is 100% safe for people, pets, property, and the environment. And a RoofMax treatment is quick, easy, and very affordable. Get more life for less money with RoofMax. A powerful fusion of science and nature.
Well, I think it's pretty interesting that that in today's world, especially, that number one, you talked them into doing the show, but the flexibility that they give you to do, I would think that everything's so corporate now. It's like you got 60 minutes and you got this and that, but it's really cool that you kind of have that flexibility to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, they're real sweet about it, man.
Yeah.
And I used to have to go downtown to do the show at the Bridgestone at their studios, but when COVID came along, I started doing them here at the house, and I got a good rig set up, so I can record them here at the house. So it's really easy. The hardest part is sourcing all the material. I have to get on the internet and track down live albums.
Yeah.
Then go on YouTube and listen to the tracks I want, make sure they sound good, pick out the songs I want. And you'd be surprised how many acts never cut a live album. So there are artists that I wish I could put on there that don't have live albums. For instance, Vince Gill has never done a live album. So if I play Vince, I have to go to the latest Eagles live album and get some vocals of his off of that. And like I said earlier, SiriusXM has this thing called the Music City Theater, and it'll seat probably 100 people, a small live audience. Mm-hmm. So a lot of artists have gone in there and done acoustic shows, and I have access to that library too. So I can play songs like this. They want me to do a totally live show next month. So I'm going to call up Steve Warner and ask him to come down to the Music City Theater and do some songs, kind of like playing at the Bluebird Cafe, and pass a guitar around. I think I'm going to get Dina Carter. Dina just finally did a live album. It's not out yet. I don't have a copy of it yet, but I saw her at Tracy Lawrence's golf tournament the other day, and she wants to be on the show. So I'm going to try to get Patty Loveless. Never put out a live album, and she's pretty much retired, and she lives in Georgia, and she married Emery Gordy Jr., a great producer and songwriter, and she takes care of him. His health's not that great. So I would love to get her to come to Nashville and do that Music City Theater show with me. We're really good friends. And she's another one that came out that same year too, that we all did. And so I'm going to reach out to a couple of my friends and just do a total live.
That's the first place that my brain went whenever you said that. I was like, well, you might have to get them in to do some acoustic stuff or something like that. So
yeah,
it's cool that you have that space to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's a great little place, man. And a lot of artists have come in and done shows there. Yeah. I mean, a lot, probably 50, 60.
Yeah.
And and they got it set up, where it sounds good, where the recording of it, sonically it's good.
Yeah. So you mentioned this guy a while ago, but we're sitting, like I said earlier, we're sitting 10 miles from Faraday right now. We're in Natchez, Mississippi. Why don't you talk about real quickly a little bit about Mickey Gilley? I saw you make a post about him, and he just passed recently. Can you have anything that Yeah, a story about him or anything?
Oh yeah, man. In the last probably 10 years, I've gotten to be really good friends with him. You know, I've known him for 40 years almost, but in the last, I'd say 10 years, I've gotten really good friends with him and Johnny Lee. I've been knowing Johnny forever, and we're big buddies. And if I'm doing a show near them, they'll come over and show up and get on stage and sing. You know, Johnny will sing "Looking for Love," and Mickey will, you know, they'll sing a couple of their hits, and Mickey's just a sweet man, and you know he's been rocking and rolling since the '50s, and of course everybody knows him from Urban Cowboy. Him and Johnny too. And I said on this last episode of Livewire, you know, those guys will forever be in the American pop culture subconscious. You know, it was such a huge movie, and still resonates today. And you know, just a nice man. And Jason D. Williams, which is, he finally admitted it, Jerry Lee too, that he's Jerry Lee's son. And Tanya Tucker did a sold out rhyming show about a month ago, and I went down and sang. She had some great special guests, and Jason D was there. And Jason D and I have been buddies for probably 30 years too. And he said, "Man, you better come over to Memphis and see Jerry Lee because his health is really deteriorating." And he said, "You better not wait too long." So Sheila and I are going to get in the car and go over to Memphis and visit with Jerry Lee here really soon. And
yeah, that guy.
And he's another one. He and Keith Whitley both are going into the Country Music Hall of Fame next year, which Jerry Lee, you know, is already in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and should have been in the Country Music Hall of Fame, in my opinion, a long time ago, too.
I agree with you on that. It's amazing what those guys from a little town in Faraday, Louisiana.
And you know, and Jimmy, I'm a huge Jimmy Swagger fan, too.
Yeah.
I love the way Jimmy plays piano and sings. I've been to that church down there, just to hear the music. You know,
I heard several people say that they went to the music.
You know, and Jimmy's a good preacher too. So that's a three cousins there. It's unbelievable.
Talented crew, huh?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. Summer's here, and that means long hot days in the Miss Lou. Our friends at Natchez Heating and Cooling are here for you. They make sure you never have to worry about your home's health or efficiency. When you need them, they show up. It's as simple as that. So call Natchez Heating and Cooling for all of your HVAC needs. Well, man, well, let's shift gears and let's talk about this weekend. We'll wrap up with the show this weekend that you have coming. Have you ever seen the Woodlands that you're gonna be playing? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was there when it was gutted, you know, when Leslie and Brenda Floyd, you know, had just acquired that. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, let's go.
I just want to throw in that we're doing an autobiography. I don't know if I mentioned that. I've been doing interviews all day, so I can't remember what I've talked about already. But this book, I can't imagine anybody cared enough to read it, but this book publishing company called us last year and asked us if we'd be interested in writing an autobiography. So Sheila and I said, yeah, and Sheila, thank goodness for her memory, because she reminded me of so many things. So we got that coming out later this year, and I kind of cut a vanity record. I'd been wanting to cut a soul record, and so we went down to Muscle Shoals at Fame Studios down there, and we cut a bunch of old 60s soul hits that were cut in Memphis and Muscle Shoals. We're calling it From Memphis to Muscle Shoals, and just cut a bunch of old classic soul hits. And Tanya Tucker's doing a duet with me on it, The Dark End of the Street. Wynonna's going to sing on it. Sammy Hagar's already sang on it. Dwight Yoakam, I was talking to him this morning. He was in the studio late last night out in Hollywood putting his vocals on a song. And Sam Moore from Sam and Dave's on it. Little Anthony from Little Anthony and the Imperials is on it. Eddie Floyd, that wrote and sang the original Knock on Wood song, is on it. And I got a couple of more people I'm going to get on it. So we're finishing that up right now, and it'll be out this summer. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I'm getting to do I get to do, at this point in my career, I get to do what I want to do. And nobody's telling me what I can or can't do. And the last studio record really I did was a gospel record. That you had mentioned, it got nominated for a Grammy, and I had so many guests on it. Leon Russell's on it, and it was the last thing he did before he passed. Vince Gill's on it. The Oak Ridge Boys, Jason Crabb, bunch of gospel, Southern gospel people, the Booth Brothers and Jeff and Sherry Easter, Three Bridges, Sonia Isaacs, Jimmy Fortune. So I got a lot of guests on that record too. So I've been, doing basically what I want to do.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, it's beautiful, man. I'm telling you, God's taking care of me.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to all those things that you just mentioned. I'm going to check them
you
all
ought to
out.
go online sometime. You ought to go on YouTube, and the name of that gospel album is Forever Changed. You ought to sample that. You'll really like it.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely will.
By the way, we got a pretty cool Facebook page that we keep up fairly regularly, like every day, every other day we put something up, and we got Twitter and Instagram, and we even rocking with the kids on TikTok, man. So
I'm not even doing that yet.
We have a really good guy named Austin Smith that takes care of our social media. We got a good team, man, helping us out. We got a good management team and good booking agent and band and everything. So yeah, we're having fun. Hey man, I'm telling you, I'm having more fun now than ever. It's amazing.
Well, that's when life is good, man. When you're doing what you love and you're having fun doing it, and you're doing it for the right reasons, that's about as good as it gets.
It's a blessing.
It's a blessing,
man.
That's right. That's right. Well,
and hey,
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and it gives me the opportunity to bless other people too. I tell people I got the greatest job in the world, man. I get to make people happy for a living, and it's a great feeling.
Yeah, it's not much better than seeing people happy, man. Too much sadness in this world today, and to see people happy. That's one of the reasons that we started this show. Is to highlight people who are doing good things in the community, and it's all about positivity.
That's exactly what I was fixed to say, man.
Yeah.
You got to put out positive vibrations, man.
Yeah, that's right, man. There's enough negativity in the world. We said, you know what? We know it's out there, but we're not going to contribit to it.
Hey, see what you can do about gas prices and diesel prices, man. It costs too much to fill the bus up, or the truck, or the car, or the lawnmower, for that matter.
Oh man, that's right. I know, man. Cost you $50 to fill up a lawnmower these days, won't it?
I hear you.
Oh man, was there anything else that you want to kind of talk about?
Well, just I love you, and I appreciate you having me on, and God bless you, and God bless all your viewers, and God bless the United States of America.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, man, and we want to say thank you to all of our partners. We want to say thank you to all of our viewers out there. God bless everybody out there, and as always, have a champion day.